welcome back to another episode of Critical Affection, where we affectionately criticize the pop culture that we love. And today we have Brian and Amanda. This is. I hope it's going to be a regular thing. Brian's been here. Like, I can't get rid of Brian, but I hope Amanda sticks around. And our guest tonight is Todd Black, who's going to be talking about his comic, which, actually, I don't have any special news to talk about, so let's just jump right on in. I'm going to pull up your thingy here. This thingy.
Yeah, that thingy.
This thingy, so that we can look at some art, and you can tell us all about it.
Yes, so hello, my name is Todd Black. I'm the writer-creator of many comics, one of which is Tokyo Blade Detectives, which is my tribute to all things anime that I both grew up on and continue to watch to this day. We have 10 issues. We are currently on our third arc, and it's been a lot of fun to make this series and just to watch it develop and get so much love from the indie comic community. As for what Tokyo Blade Detectives is, it's about Japan 200 years in the future where guns are outlawed and only the blade can rule. Laser blades, that is. Yeah. So every arc is 4 issues. We have very fun topics. Our third one right here is about a serial killer that arrives in Tokyo, which doesn't sound that bad because there's a lot of killers in Tokyo in my comic. But this one is very old school, and that leads to many questions about what they're doing here, why they're doing things this way, and whether he can be stopped. So this is the second issue of this third arc, and we go live on June 1st. So I hope you will grant me the pleasure of checking it out, and all past issues are available. So if this is your first time seeing Tokyo Blade Detectives, issues 1 through 9 are available via digital or physical rewards. And here we have the cover for number 10, and I think that's the only art I have, but I also have an anime style intro video that's right there. I don't know if you want to play it, Sarah. Absolutely your call. But
depends how long is it.
10 million minutes. No, it's 90 seconds. I don't even know how long 10 million is.
I had a smart ass comment and then it just went away. So, sure. What the hell? We could do 10-minute. We can do a 10-minute video. No, we could have just started the 10-minute video and then it would have been.
It's 90
would have been your whole thing. Let me.
Tokyo rap! On every corner, dangers lurking and trying to hurt you. Violence and overload in the streets of Tokyo. Time for some action, get the slashing against these 5 factions. Yeah, take them to school to the land where the guns outlaw. Only the blade can rule. I'm not in the mood for all the evil around me, so I'm ready to duel. Embrace the past, but you won't stop our future. I'm a disillusion, now I'm choosing to change perspectives. Form a little sister leader of the Ronins, now with the detectives. Yeah, we combine skills that'll beat the 9. Telltale there's peace of mind, we stay sharp. Always hit the mark with our blades, shining in the dark. Ready for the air attack. Every job, every take, we gotta react. Think fast, cause the enemy's on the dash. Sense all this evil behind the mask. We fight with full force till death's a fact. Every day's a clash, you never know who's gonna act. We on the crash course, gotta keep up the pace. Always on the chase, never know who's gonna be our next case. It doesn't matter if you're Ronin, a terrorist, or empress. Try to take us on, we'll see who passed the real test. We'll give it our all, though we don't know true rest. We're Tokyo Blade Detectives, we are the best. Welcome to Tokyo.
Where's the other 11 billion seconds?
They are in your mind, Brian.
You lied to us. You lied to us.
I think there's room in there.
It's what I do. But
that is a good song. Did you get that song special for this? That's a fun song.
Yeah, that was my good friend Omega Sparks, who was actually in the comic as a character. And he's an epic rapper. He's done all kinds of things, including for a show called Death Battle that I adore. And I was just like, my dream with this comic is to actually make it into a full-fledged anime series. And so I'm like, what would be the best way to help showcase that? I'm like, well, we could do an intro video. It took me a couple years to find the right people, and then took about a year to get the whole video done. But I think it turned out really well, and now it's a perfect promotional aspect to show what my series is all about.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, it's a good intro video is not to be underestimated, really. Like, I think they're underrated. don't see a lot of them for comics, to be fair. I mean, Matt Knowles does in Symmetry. Matt and Steph do some good videos.
Yeah. Usually what I've done in the past is I just be like I am right now, and I would just like parse in pages from the comic via a friend of mine who's actually the editor for the comic. But once this one got finished, you're like, no, that's your intro video. Like every campaign, that's all you need. Don't need to talk about it. Just show the animation time.
Nice.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
It's pretty fun. It's
Thank
a pretty
you.
fun video.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else that we should know about it? Do
Well,
you got any cool rewards besides the comic?
Yes, we have. One of my favorite ones is that you can get drawn into the comic.
Sweet.
So, last issue had a special one where you actually would get killed in the comic via our serial killer. We actually had a couple people partake in that, but this one's just a straight up cameo. We have a very cool fight scene near the end where you'll get drawn into that. You also have the chance to get some custom art made via one of my artists, Alex Garcia, who does incredible work. And you also have the ability to get every single book I have ever made, which is over 50. So you can get them digitally, you can get them physically, whatever trips your trigger. I've got all sorts of genres. I've done sci-fi fantasy, I've done mystery, I've done noir, I've done superheroes, I've done anime. So whatever, I've even done a heist comic just because I can. And I starred in it just because I wanted to. So if you're
that's the beauty of being the creator. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Oh yeah. It's like I can be a thief, Mom. Just don't tell me what I can't do. So
We like heists here.
I put the link to Tokyo Blade Detective. I'm gonna pin it here if I can figure out how to do that.
yeah.
Also, hi, Kyron.
There we go.
Or Kyron's
Yeah, hi
butler.
Kyron. Oh, Kyron says, my butler hired Ozzy Osbourne to write the music for my next Kickstarter video. I'm looking forward to that. Is it
Yeah. I like
believe
Kyron.
that one
is it for
Kyron's butler.
Starcore? Is it for Starcore? I want Starcore. I'm wondering if I'm starting to irritate Kyron by asking for more Starcore because I want more Starcore.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm like, okay, yeah, you do you.
That's one of Kyron's creations. That's one of Taurus Comics,
Uh-huh.
and it's pretty fun. And I think Kyron, you did all the art for that, right? It's really like I like the art style. And like the first time I think I just flipped through it like 4 times and didn't even read the damn thing. So it was just like, this is a pretty book. It's so pretty. So, if y'all want me to review your comics, maybe don't, because I'm going to look at it and think pretty art and then not actually read it. So that's kind of what I do.
Yeah,
Sarah and I
eventually
will read it.
Yeah,
Or
Brian,
Amanda and I.
Brian reads it. Brian has read every comic that's been sent to him, so...
I like words.
Oh,
Then you should read my words and back my campaign when the time comes, Brian.
That's
it
legit.
might be for Starcore. It might be for Starcore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So so you got some cool stuff coming. And when did you say that it's launching?
We launch on June 1st. We're going through the whole month of June. That's just
So
how
very
I like
soon.
to think.
Very soon.
Yeah, very
everybody, go click the link. It only posted to Twitch and to YouTube. It looks like. So sorry, Facebook, but if you're on Facebook, just type in Todd Black in the search and then go find him.
Yeah,
It's
look for
there.
my hair.
And exactly. And also, you can go to Kickstarter and type Tokyo Blade Detectives in the search bar, and it'll get you the same thing. So, all right. If you have anything else to talk about with Tokyo Blade Detectives, otherwise we can move on to the topic of the night.
Just if you love anime, like deep stories, if you like things like Full Metal Alchemist or some of the better anime series, including one that we're about to talk about that I liked, but apparently others didn't. Not gonna say who.
It's gonna be a very interesting chat.
So
Hey, what if I like laser swords?
then you're in the right place, and I have to legally
Hell
say laser swords because of a certain overlord that hangs over us if we say anything else.
So speaking
board.
of the topic,
Yes.
I asked Todd to pick the topic, and he picked Gurren Lagann,
Oh.
which is, well, it's an anime.
Yes.
we didn't like it. Brian and Amanda and I did not care for it.
Not a fan.
And Brian, you said you watched it way back when.
So
and
I thought I watched
then,
it.
Right?
I thought I watched it, and then I started seeing episodes that I didn't recognize, and I'm like, oh, this means that like a decade or so ago, I watched it and then just forgot to keep watching. Just the only thing I remember from it was like goofy mechs and way too much fan service.
So
I wasn't wrong.
I'm not interested in ganging up on Todd, and I do have good things to say about it, but I do have to preface this by telling y'all, I'm so sorry. This is the first time in Critical Affection history I did not finish the anime.
She did not.
I did not finish it. I made it not quite halfway, which, interestingly enough, is about how far you have to watch before it gets good, in my opinion. But that's why it's an opinion.
It is.
And I don't hate anime. Just so everybody knows, I don't hate anime, and I don't hate this anime. I just don't like it. It's not my fave. You know?
It's it's at the bottom of my list.
So because I know that there are a lot of people in here that are gonna like it and they're gonna be upset with us, and we maybe will even get some hate comments. I don't know.
I say this lovingly, come at me, bro.
Well, I do want to say, I want to challenge all three of us who did not like it to think of one good thing that we did think that was good in there.
Sure.
And I can think of a few. So,
I have generally
kind of spoils the opening thoughts part of the show. But Todd, what are your opening thoughts of Gurren Lagann?
For context, just because I know this will seem random to some of you, the reason I picked Gurren Lagann was Sarah over here was like, hey, we need a topic that'll connect to your comic. I'm like, okay, well, it's an anime comic, and I just watched this anime called Gurren Lagann. This was my first time watching it because I had heard of Gurren Lagann and Simone the Digger, but I had never gotten around to it for one reason or another, not least of which was I found out later. It came out in 2007, which makes me feel old. But I watched it for a death battle, that show I mentioned earlier, because Simone the Digger was going to be a combatant on it going up against Kyle Rayner from DC Comics. So I'm like, well, might as well watch the show. So I watched it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good anime. I really, really did. It had fantastic animation. Once you got to the deeper stuff, especially the second half, which Sarah didn't get to watch, you get into very important topics about social structure, the importance of government, and just the will to break through all the barriers that are holding you down, which is a very powerful message, especially in this day and age. And yes, there is fan service. I was not the biggest fan of Yoko until like one episode that I won't spoil for Sarah in case she does finish it. It's actually a very beautifully done episode for Yoko. But I thought the characters were fun. I thought the action was insane, especially in the final episodes. It hurt when I found out I was going to get ganged up upon tonight, but I will endure because my drill is the one that'll pierce the heavens.
Thank you for that penis analogy.
There are...
Ah!
Oh my god. We should just turn the show off now, shouldn't we?
In the words of Yakko Warner, good night, everybody.
Oh my god. Okay, so like, why don't we just get out of the way? We can't cover everything in depth about what, because there was several things all of us, and even you, Todd, had to criticize about this.
I have
several
clear complaints about the show. Not the same ones you all did, but I have complaints.
Yeah, like I think we all share some of them. Like, there's overlap. I know that because my big thing besides the stereotypes and the various isms in there, I didn't care for the fact that it was like my big thing was like, why did I have to watch 6 crappy episodes to get to a 7th episode that started to get good? I did not care for that. That is why I didn't finish it. I had 2 weeks 2 weeks from when Todd told me that he wanted to do this one, and I thought, that's 27 episodes. That's not a problem. I can do a couple every day. It's not a big deal. But it turned out like they were so difficult to watch, and I had to rewatch 4 of them because I wasn't even paying attention because they just failed to capture my interest.
Well, hold on. No. That's not what you said. You had to rewatch because you didn't like the English dub.
Well, yes, I had to because I wasn't listening to the English version. I did, in fact, Jeffrey suggested that I go back and watch because I was just like, I hate this. I don't think I can do this. I hate this. And he's like, well, maybe you should try watching it. And I did tell him that I wasn't even paying attention to a lot of it. And I did have to rewind several of the parts in there because I was like, I'm not listening to this. And he suggested I go back and watch it in the original Japanese, and that definitely helped. But it didn't help enough for 6 episodes.
No.
And but it did get good. At episode 7, it started to get like it wasn't as much bullshit. There was some actual serious storylines, so it started to get good at episode 7. So I'm hoping. I did promise to watch the rest of it. I'm like almost halfway through, or at halfway through. I'm close to halfway through,
Yeah.
And so I did agree to watch the rest of it, and I will.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna reserve any more positivity for it until I actually experience it and know. Just So Amanda,
Here we go.
she's had this intense stare for a while now, and I know that you are here for the isms, so let's hear it.
Pull the iron out of the fire and strike.
Okay. Well, we can start, of course, with the sexism. The nonstop women must not be good at things. They have, especially in some of the later episodes, they go straight to the Madonna whore, where the women character are all kind of evil, and they have vagina dentata robots that are going after you. And
What was that? Oh
I
my
don't
God.
remember that.
Adina.
yeah, Leda
has
Adina,
the
robot
boobs
has
of the robot.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
eyeballs and her crotch, her
crotch.
general
Okay.
pelvic area
Right,
is the
yeah.
mouth, and it's got sharp teeth. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep,
right.
yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
looking at her eyes. I'm just saying.
Sure, you were.
I bet
I
you
was.
were. I bet you were.
I was.
She was talking with her vagina dentata mouth. You would
Yeah,
have to have noticed that at least once.
I did not
No,
even
actually,
see,
I really didn't.
I didn't even see the eye boobs at first because I was just like, why is her crotch talking to us?
Yes.
Because everybody else's mechs had the mouth on the
Yeah.
belly,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but not hers. Hers
Not
was right
hers.
there, smack dab on the crotch.
I seriously didn't notice that. I really didn't, because I was just used to them all
Oh.
talking with their
All right.
mechs. I'm just like, yeah,
Mhm,
okay,
mhm.
why not?
But then she's of course counterpointed by the Nia character being the sweet and
Yes.
innocent one, and then
Yes.
somewhere in between is supposed to be Yoko, who's the tomboy who gets to dress scandalously but isn't quite
She's
so
not.
evil that we have to consider her the whore. Although the second she gets any, her counterpart dies because innocence.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she's
no, the
kissed-
whole
she's the kiss
thing
of
is
death.
just
Like, that's-
really
that's-
brutal
Well, and
on women. They make a point of being like, oh, you have to dress up in this one, and they give a really
Well,
bullshit
and they,
answer
like-
around that.
and
It's
in a roundabout way, they make her responsible for Kamina's death
oh yeah, absolutely.
because she kissed Kamina, and because Simone saw them kiss, and he kind of had his crush on Yoko. So it's in a roundabout way. It was Yoko's fault that Kamina died.
I can see why you say that, but I'm gonna fight back because yes, that was the reason that he had his mental break, but he was gotten the pep talk from Kamina earlier. He was able to do the Lagann fusion with the mech, but he kept going back to Yoko because of that crush. So it was always Simone. Simone was the reason. Yoko was the trigger, sure, but it was all Simone. He could have said, like, okay, we could deal with this later, but because of who he was, because of how he looked up to Kamina and how he had a crush on Yoko, Simone lost the nerve and that's why Kamina died. Spoilers. And spoilers for a 20-year-old anime.
It's
anime.
right there in the title of the show. If people are, I don't even mention it anymore, because if people are gonna get spoiled in this show that says that there's spoilers on the thumbnail and
It's true.
everywhere.
Right.
You had it in the video.
You brought that shit on yourself. You didn't want to be spoiled. You shouldn't have been watching.
This
And it literally is called "Let's Talk About."
Yeah.
Insert title here.
Yeah, so you're gonna get all of it. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna
no.
spoil you, Sarah, because so many things to talk
Oh
about.
no, I did read a recap, so I know the gist of what's happening, because I was like, I can't go into this completely unprepared for y'all. So-
Absolutely.
So I
I
did.
actually do need to
Continue,
finish
Amanda.
some of the last episodes, but yes, by all means. They also, before we jump back to the isms, when you were talking about the whole failing to power the mech,
Yeah.
they are wildly inconsistent about how he's able to operate it or not operate it. They make it sound like it's emotion based, and then he blocks himself with his emotions, but then he comes out of it with his emotions, and they never have a consistency for how he's able to use it, which is kind of annoying. If there had been like he's powered by the anger, oh, but not too angry. Oh, he's powered by this. If in that case, he should have been powered by his grief. He should have
Spiral
been powered
power-
by all of that.
Spiral
It didn't-
power is specifically stated to be willpower. Like it is. That's why he had the will at the start of that fight before Kamina died, because he's like, okay, we gotta do this. But then he kept focusing back on Kamina and Yoko, and that's
But
when his will
willpower and
wavered.
focus and emotions are not the same things. So having grief doesn't mean you don't have willpower. In fact, it can make you have willpower,
Not
and vice versa. They just were very inconsistent about when he could and couldn't do things. Back to the isms, though.
Yes.
I did not enjoy the fact that Yoko was scantily clad, had boob physics that were incredibly wrong, was using like a rifle that would have absolutely made her boobs hurt, and she needed to winch that shit down if she was going to be using it.
Massive wardrobe malfunction waiting to happen.
The crotch shots, unnecessary. And here's really the kicker for me. She was 14 years old for 17 of the 27 episodes.
Are you
So
fucking
that's
kidding me?
pedophilia.
Gross. Okay,
Yeah,
gross.
super
I did
gross.
not know she
Super
was
gross.
14 in that. That is.
Yeah. Throughout all of
Ugh.
these episodes where we're seeing her being treated like this adult woman in a scanty outfit, it's a girl. And then even Kamina
How
being
old's
like
Kamina?
18 and trying to mack on a 14-year-old, not
Ugh.
cool.
Kamina's
And the way
like
that he
16.
dismisses her, because the crotch shots that he's got his face right up in there, and he's like, wow, you got nothing going on but your ooh,
Right?
ew.
Yeah. And the second he thought she was a top dweller, she was amazing. Again, back to being the Madonna, but then he found out that she was actually an underground person, and now she's a whore. And he has, of course, doing the insulting thing to her to
Not
kind
a
of
horse.
indicate-
She's worse than a horse. She's more like a spinster.
Yeah, and calling her
Like, she's
fat.
not interesting in that, because the only thing about her that's useful is whether or not she has sex appeal for him.
Right, exactly. Women are very much objects throughout this entire thing, and it's all about how they relate to the guys. So
How many times so Kamina, spoiler alert, only lasts until episode 7. And how many times in those 7 episodes did he make it to 8?
It was episode 8.
Does
so
he make
it's
it? Okay.
pretty quick.
Okay, so he dies in episode 8.
Yeah. Also, Anthony
He,
Davis. We're talking about Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann, yeah. Akira, Bubblegum Crisis, Cowboy Bebop, Pokemon. I have seen 2 of those.
3 for me. Akira, Pokemon, Digimon.
I've seen Cowboy Bebop, Pokemon.
I need to get to Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop's very good.
See,
yeah.
and I've heard that. I've heard that it's top tier all
Yeah,
time.
it's also really fucking weird, and just like all there's you could say that about any anime, I suppose, but like that one, it's weird, but it's weird in a coherent way. What we were talking about, a couple of them, like they don't make sense. They're weird, and I don't understand what the hell's going on. What's the one?
Like the refrigerator episode.
No, Fooly Cooly.
Okay.
Cooly. That's the one I was like, I don't understand. Like, it made me angry watching it. Thankfully, the one season is short, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. None of this makes sense. Who are these people? Like, it was it's so weird. But like Cowboy Bebop is weird in a coherent way, and Gurren Lagann has physics that, like, what kind of machinery is that shit? Cause like it was smiling and talking, and Adina's was like changing from a butterfly into a scorpion and shit. Like, what's
Oh, and
that?
don't forget the kayak penis robot. Yeah. Like
Yeah, and speaking of the isms, let's talk about Liron and his. Oh, because he had suggestive things to say about the penis robot.
Liron was just suggestive, period.
They made him aggressively sexual, which is a horrible gay stereotype to be putting in. It made him a very one-note character. He's the smartest, most talented character on the planet, and then they just one-note him that way. And it's like, come on. And he's even making, at one point they had the sexual commentary happening with kids, and I was like, oh, y'all extra gross for that. Like, no.
Like,
nasty.
He could have been, like, I think he might be my favorite character, and I'm just like, if they could have just erased all the pervy shit that he said, he would have been, like, he can be flamboyant. He could absolutely be a flamboyant character. He didn't need to be creepy, too. That was uncalled for.
And maybe he could have been, you know, like, made a couple of the adult characters uncomfortable once if they really, really had to do it. But did he have to do it to the 14 and the 18-year-old and then eventually, you know, to the even younger kids? Like, it was unnecessary. And the
guy, the Black sister's brother, what is his name?
Kinto, something like that.
Yeah, him. He was being a huge dick after Kamina died. I'm the leader, and he was being a huge dick to everybody. I was like, right there, Liron, that's a perfect time to creep on him. He deserved it. He deserved the creeping. But, like, most of the time that he creeped on somebody, uncalled for. And doing it around the little kids was,
yeah.
And I'm super grossed out that Yoko was 14.
Don't watch
Honestly,
Kill la
the
Kill.
whole comic.
Oh, that's on my list too.
Don't watch Kill la Kill if you're creeped out by that, because it's even worse, and that's not a lie.
That's the main plot.
Yeah, literally, it's it's worse. So.
Okay. So yeah, more isms. There are more than just sexism and homophobia in here.
Oh yeah, but there's also just the fact that there was like some misandry. Like, I don't think the anime was doing men and boys wrong. It very much was the fan service that it was providing, in theory, to them was like the crotch shots unnecessarily all the time, or side boob. When like the character Yoko is coming away and there's these guys that are hiding from her, they stop and they should be showing her face to show her reaction, to show the interplay between the characters. Instead, it's just body shot side boob, and it's indicating that that's all a guy boy character is going to want, audience is going to want to see, and that's really insulting. Men are not one-dimensional. They don't just want to see side boob on the girl character.
I'm one of those guys that don't care about
that. Well, I mean, that's why you're able to look past all that bullshit to see the story underneath. Like, there is a story underneath. It does exist, and it's not a bad story. But the stereotypes really make it, like, it's very distracting to get through all of that bullshit to get to the story. Like, it's not a strong story. It's not like fucking Citizen Kane or something. Like, it's not. It's meant to be fun, and like, it's serious at times, but mostly just exciting and fun.
Rosebuds to mech.
Magical mech.
I know. Yeah. Also, Amanda, just to make you appreciate me more, obviously. When I made Tokyo Blade Detectives, the one thing I made sure I did not have was fan service. Like, gratuitous, over the top fan service. And there's only like one character that, I'm being generous here, is well endowed, and she's a full-grown adult, and that was literally because my artist drew her that way. It was not how she looked in the concept art. That she comes down and like, I don't remember her chest being that inflated, and I'm like, she's a very flamboyant character herself, so like, she'd probably be fine with that. So like, fine, whatever. But like, my main character, Mika, who's only 16, like, very covering outfit, respectful of the character. Yes. She's a kid in a hardcore place, and about like, she's ready for battle. That's her character, you know. So.
I can definitely appreciate that. Honestly, the first time Brian said fan service, it took me a very solid several seconds for the penny to drop, because it's normally something like fan services in a sci-fi show when they reference a sci-fi writer or something like that, you know, where there's where they're doing reference. He meant it exclusively as they're going to be doing creepy girl body shots, and I was like, why does the word fan service mean that automatically an anime to you and everyone else. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think
You know, I didn't use that word at all when I was talking about it to Jeffrey too, and he used the exact same word.
Yeah, so it's obviously a known thing.
Yeah, I was just I don't know where I heard it first, but like over time, especially when you think of both, for me, video games, comic books even, and anime, it just became this thing where it's always brought up. And then when you don't see the fan service and you see something more tasteful, it resonates with you. Like a great example, this is going way off topic, but the show Black Lightning on the CW, they had a character named Thunder, who's Black Lightning's daughter. And in the comics, she had like a variety of outfits that were very, not full on fan service, but close. And then when she shows up in the show, fully costumed, they play this very powerful track about, you know, like being in her own skin and, you know, showing off her power, but she's in like full armor. And I'm like, there it is. I'm like, that's a great outfit. And it looked incredible. It looked like a really true combat outfit. I'm like, she still looked great, but she looked great while looking like an actual superhero.
But question, did she wear wedge heels?
No.
Okay.
She was in black?
Interesting. She was in like boots, like actual shoes or boots that she could run around in.
Yeah.
That is when it comes to action characters. Like I the first time we went to the theater and watched Wonder Woman, and I was like, why in the fuck is she in wedge heels? Wedge heels. You can't run in those. You can't fight in those. Yeah. What?
I'm gonna try and find a good picture, but
it's right up there with when the woman's about to have a fight. That's when she takes her hair down. Like,
right?
No,
no, that's
fucker,
grabbing
that's
material. Don't do that.
Okay. So. We're talking about Gurren Lagann.
Yes,
sure.
We are.
And Brian still has yet to speak. He's just enduring all of this right now.
So sorry, Brian. Why don't you go ahead?
Not at all.
Sorry.
Oh no, people talking about the series we're here to talk about.
I just don't want you to feel left out, buddy.
There was an episode where Brian did not, like, there was the one episode you actually sent Amanda to come talk about it because you couldn't watch the show. And then there was an episode wherein you just didn't watch the show. Which, as long as one of us watches the show, it's cool. But yeah, that one,
they did give her grabbing braids, but other than that, it looks like it's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm oh, right, good. Looking. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you would want to have those braids tied back during a fight, but yeah, otherwise that's a good. And you're not like, just Yoko's outfit, she's bouncing around on the top of those mechas and like that stupid bikini top is not going to hold anything in. And also, ow, okay? Ow. Any woman,
I
even
a they had her like running,
big chest,
like squeezing through that
chest.
tunnel, and her boobs were in an unnatural shape, and 100% would have been scraped and hurting at that point.
Oh, did you see it was in one of the earlier episodes, her, like, she's flying through the air and her boobs are going like this.
Right.
Like,
the physics of the boobs were not correct.
Oh my god.
Second half of the show, boob physics.
Yeah, it's like that was. I was just like,
as it relates to sniping,
broken? Is that why? Like, do I just not know because mine are bad boobs? Like, why? Because mine don't do that. Never seen that. Not in a real human person.
I want to point out that I'm pretty sure that Amanda's favorite character in the show was probably Viral, or however you say his name, because in the Hot Springs episode, after he came to fight them, he's like, put some clothes on. It's like, decency.
No. I want to be clear. I'm in no way trying to like slut shame her outfit or anything. No. It's just, it's not a realistic outfit.
Yeah.
No,
it's not practical for what she's doing.
That's like, it's like, as far as what she's wearing, if that's what she likes, go for it, girl. I do not care about that part. My problems with it are purely, you can't fight in that without your boobs going everywhere and her back. She's already carrying that heavy-ass gun all over the place, and she's not got her boobs properly secured.
And as a white girl, I can promise you that much skin in the desert is not a good idea. I did not see her apply sunscreen once. That is.
We were in the Mojave yesterday.
Yeah, we were.
Exposed skin is no bueno.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I was in the Mississippi River Valley yesterday. It is not a good place. Like, it doesn't matter where this. Like, I mean,
it's like 60 over here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like it's if it's sunny out.
59.
You do not have to expose skin. But especially out in that hot, dry desert where that sun is radiating off the sand, like she would not be, and she's super pale too. Like she's got very pale, lily white skin, and like that's not how you like. She's been living up on the surface for a couple years. Yeah. No, she'd look like a leather handbag.
That's why nobody thinks she's 14 because she's like built like a saddle.
Kamina is more tan, and yet he lived underground.
Right, exactly. What the hell?
Anime logic.
And yeah, like the only person that I understood at the beginning to be young was Simone because he was shorter and paler.
Right, and it said he was 14 too. So Yoko and he are the same.
Yeah, and Yoko is like got every indication of Yoko as like what she says and how she looks would suggest that she was an adult. So it's really not sitting well with me to learn that she was 14 that whole time.
I did not know that. I really didn't know she was 14.
Yeah.
Where did you find that out? Did they say it?
No, I looked it up because I was trying to figure out Simone's age because they did this 7-year jump and I'm like, he's in charge of everything now and he's how old? Oh,
21.
No, God, no. That's the worst age to be in charge of everything. Why would they do this? Oh, no. 21 is not it. Like 20 is the like when you make horrible fucking mistakes in your life as a
maybe
human.
But he was in charge of everybody faster.
Right, sure,
No.
I fly robots good. Make me president.
Yeah, okay, so
I want to touch on the story for a moment.
Yeah.
Like totally there's not a plot here. The very first thing we see about this series is like a guy in space mysteriously shielded, and they talk about them being essentially space pirates, I guess. I don't know. They're very unfucking clear about it. And then we suddenly jump and there's the underground scene, and there's underground people doing underground things.
I completely forgot about that first scene because like I was like, it doesn't mean anything to you. The very first thing that you see, it means nothing.
The only thing I kind of got from it was that we might be hearing the story of how this shadowy figure became a famous shadowy figure. Okay, and so then they immediately jump into these two guys. One is the younger, who's apparently 14, and the one who's older, who's apparently 18. And honestly, I thought the 18-year-old was older, and then the 14-year-old was younger, and so it was going to be like a father-son dynamic.
Yeah, I thought that he was like 25.
Right, but then
that Kamina was, Simone was like 12.
Right, and so I sort of thought, based on just seeing the characters, that it was going to be the kid was going to be the future person that we're going to find out and see, and that this is sort of kind of an attempt to say, here's how the kid is in the current state, and then the Kamina is how the kid's going to sort of become the future adult potential that's there. And then they kind of work that angle. And that sort of worked out for a little bit, and then it went off the rails. So my theory was wrong. But that's where I was starting from with the whole, like, underground people trying to escape up to the top. And
I completely forgot about the space stuff at the beginning. Completely forgot.
Yeah. And so then they get up to the top, and there's just this thing of, where the hell is this going? Like, what is the point of this story? And that stayed with me through the entire thing. There was no real, like you give us a hook at the start that sort of indicates something, and so this whole time you're like, oh, they go to space, except they don't, and they don't, and they don't, and they don't. But like when you're 2/3 of the way through the finding out about the space that you're still not in space, it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of basic story structure.
It does get there. But the fact that it's such a slow burn getting to the big thing they tip off with. If they hadn't had the big tip off, it might have actually made it better. But you're not entirely sure where's our end goal here. What are we trying to learn? And apparently it's just supposed to be, I guess, the biography of Simone. And maybe if they called it Simone the Digger, we would have had a little more understanding of what we were in for here.
Mm-hmm. You were saying that there's no story, and I see a very thin storyline going through there. I do not see a good, strong story. Like I said before, it kind of felt like they were writing each episode right before they were filming it, or making it. I guess it's an anime, so they weren't filming stuff as such. But they are like the storyline, the very it's there, and it's just cloaked in so much fucking sexism and shit that it bothered the hell out of me. But there's like, Kamina believes that there's a surface. He wants to go to the surface. They get to the surface and realize it does exist, but oh my god, it's populated by these gunmen. with that these beastmen want to exterminate all the humans that are there, so the humans are fighting this war, and their end goal is to defeat the Spiral King and make and then make the surface safe for everyone. And there was a point at which I was like, okay, we're less than I was watching, I was like, I'm less than a third of the way through here, and they're already showing the Spiral King so much. This can't be the only thing that's gonna happen. Otherwise, this is a Dragon Ball Z situation, and we're gonna have a fucking 10 episode long final battle, and then I'm out, okay? So, when I did go read through, and I was like, okay, yes, I was right. They have much more stuff happening, and I think, Amanda, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head there with it, saying it's a biography of Simone, where we're like, this is what happened when he was young, this is what happened after they won the war, this is what happens next. Like, I'll find out. I'll finish watching the damn show. I'm going to do that, I promise. I will report back to you. I can't promise that I'll be done with it next Monday, but I will report back to you with the progress. And Todd, I will personally message you and tell you when I finish.
Yeah.
And if I hate it as much at the end as I did at the beginning, and right now I'm kind of like, it's not good, but it's not the worst thing I've ever watched. It's so not the worst thing I've ever watched.
There you go. See, I took that as
Alone
a
in the
compliment.
Dark is the worst thing I've ever watched.
Wait, what was the worst?
Alone in the Dark it's a movie, and it's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
That's-
Yeah,
That
based
was
on
one of
the
those
video
early
game.
based on the video games, wasn't
Yeah.
It was horrible. And
Like
that's
that.
it? Based on a book.
There's absolutely a way to do a video game movie correctly, and that is not it
No, yeah.
at
There
all.
we go.
But we could do a whole nother episode about us talking about our worst video game movie experiences, because I could give you me too.
I'm
Why
in
don't
for
we
it.
come? You
I
know
think
what,
that'd be a
Todd?
good
If
show.
you have a suggestion about any, like, if anybody here, if you're watching, if you have a suggestion for what we should do, hit me up. I want to hear it. If it's a good suggestion, because like bad video game movies, hell yeah, let's talk about those.
nice,
It's
we
gonna
would
be a
have you on
good
the
month
show.
or 6 weeks before we start scheduling anything new, because we are booked out a bit. But
Fun.
and yeah, but like I'm down. I'm down.
Because I've
do
seen
it.
terrible ones, and then like in recent times we finally got, like, people were locked in finally, like with The Last of Us, the Sonic movies, ironically.
Ironically.
Mario
The
wasn't the
movies are
best,
good.
but it was far
Mario
better than-
was watchable.
Mario
like
was
people.
watchable.
People shit on Mario, and I fully support that we shouldn't have Chris Pratt voicing every fucking
Yes!
character out there.
Ah!
But that aside, if you can set that aside,
I will
Mario
not.
was all right. Like a real fun movie to watch with kids.
Wait,
too.
aren't we
It's fun.
talking about the John Leguizamo Mario Brothers?
Don't start.
I will
Just did.
drive to California and slap you.
Respect Dennis Hopper by not talking about that movie.
That movie wasn't
Yes,
that
respect.
bad.
That's what I'm known for.
Is that movie canon?
No, thank God.
I hope not.
It
You mean Mario isn't his name?
Actually, it is.
Damn your eyes.
No, that actually is canon, technically.
Okay.
It is.
I retract my
Okay.
statement then.
Yeah, it's-
Anyway,
that's
okay,
good.
All right.
so
So, Brian,
Lagann.
I think
Still here.
that
I know.
the anime series was basically one big dick joke based on how many phallic things were in it. Changed my mind.
It was many big dick jokes in series. You're welcome.
he got you there.
What else
I
did
mean,
you like about it or not like
To be
about it?
fair.
Okay, I was instructed to say nice things. I did like the animation style.
Yeah, the animation was incredible.
Yes, the animation
Right?
is nice. It is
Especially
nice.
the final
animation.
episode.
Classic
Come
animation.
on.
I'm here for it. I started watching anime in the 90s, so like this is good stuff. I like over the top characters. The brotherly love of Kamina and Simone. I was there for it.
That was positive masculinity. I will give
Yeah.
them that. That was good.
And I was there
like
for it.
they
For
were
sure.
both very unapologetically loved each other, and they had no problem saying it. That was well done. I thought. Yes.
You need to believe in the Simone who believes in you. Like that's beautiful. Come
It's
on.
like,
Absolutely.
Kamina, you're
Kamina
really
having
making me
positive
struggle to
toxic
understand what the fuck you're
masculinity.
saying, but yes, I'm there for it. Their little bromance, whatever that was, like that was well done, that made when Kamina died, Simone was suitably broken up. Like you understood how much they meant to each other.
Yeah.
for him to be so despairing when Kamina died.
And that mini arc, I felt, is more accurate to many, not just anime, but other shows that like, oh, his character dies and they do like this thing, this thing, this thing. Simone actually was destroyed, right? Like you couldn't get Lagann to work. Everyone was making fun of him because he couldn't get it together. Like he just lost his brother. He can't get it together. You've known Kamina for like what, days, weeks at max, and the comedies with Simone's lived with his whole life, and you're like, oh, even Yoko says if he can't pull his weight, he needs to just stop. I'm like, dang it, Yoko, he just lost his brother.
Yeah, and that's like, that's like when you think about the fact that the only person who Kamina, like the only person that Simone was very close to his whole damn life is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how badly that would wreck you if you only had these people that you've known for a few weeks and then this one guy that you've known for ages and then suddenly that person's gone and
it wasn't really his whole life though.
Yeah.
It was
during
a
the
lot.
intro, they were saying, "Oh, I'm going to call you my bro now." Like they had just kind of formed that bond.
They've known each other for longer, but it's the anime, so they got it. Like
they allude to the fact that because Kamina's like he's always there for me, and he did when he was describing a memory to Yoko that Yoko then described back to was it Nia? I can't remember
Nia.
but she was telling us the story that Kamina told her that about a time that they got stuck in a hole and an earthquake got them stuck in a hole and they thought they were gonna never get out and he was about ready to lose it and break down and then Simone pulled through and just kept digging. He just kept digging, and so that was not something that happened in the first episode. So it's something like it established a further relationship with them. Going farther back than the first episode.
Either way, Ryan, continue.
No. Since we're talking about drilling.
Drill!
I worked at a company that made drill heads. Their drill physics are as bad as their boob physics. I'm done talking about drilling. Thank you.
Their mechanical engineering physics. Okay. That was just fucking magic,
Brian,
right? That was all magic.
You should know better than this. This is anime.
Again,
you
like,
know the drill.
We could change the name of this whole damn show to just hand waving. It's just
Don't twist my words.
We might spiral on the topic.
You guys, stop.
Don't spiral out of control there, Sarah.
Okay.
I hate all of you.
Okay.
You all gonna know better.
Okay. So we all said some stuff that we liked about it, right?
Can I say something not so nice now?
Yeah,
Amanda's already gone off. It's your turn.
I was instructed to say nice things.
I said you had to come up with one nice thing.
Yes.
You don't have to come up
and
with
I
nice
came
things,
up with 3.
plural.
You fulfilled your contract. Go
exactly.
off, King.
Excellent. Okay, bye.
Oh! I said go off, not go out, but you do you.
I'm gonna do me. Okay, so any show that does not respect my time gets turned off.
There.
I had, and Gurren Lagann spent so much time focusing on fan service that I felt disrespected. As Amanda said, like, guys aren't two-dimensional. They don't just go, hey, look, tits and legs, cool. And so it didn't respect my time. Episode 6 spent half the episode recapping.
Yes!
Fuck that.
Oh, God.
Don't ever do
recap
that.
Episodes. There were 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the episode...
Right before the finale, maybe?
16 when they started season 2. That was an intentional recap episode. So
That's fine.
You were allowed to
But
skip
episode
that.
6 is a disrespectful move.
That was just like...
The only time that it was kind of funny was the Clerks cartoon show when Kevin Smith made episode 2 a recap. Recapped episode 1. Haha, it's a cute bit.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that
stupid,
one.
silly
Episode
cartoon.
6,
But yeah.
Really? Did you run out of budget and just were like, we got to put it all on the back end?
Yeah.
And
this is why I stopped watching My Hero
Academia.
Academia, because I do not need a recap of something that happened 20 seconds ago after the commercial break.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I'm stupid, or do you think that I'm okay watching 6 minutes of new material every 30 minutes? If somebody comes out with a edited version of My Hero Academia that just progresses linearly, I'll watch the shit out of that. Until then, I'm not putting that show back on.
Kai.
Yeah, I was just about to make the Kai joke because that's what they did. They cut out all the filler and just like, no, here's what you actually
Yes.
like.
Too much goddamn filler. Like I don't fucking care how powerful what's his face is. naked mole rat dude. I can't remember his name.
Who?
But he, the main bad guy, not Vegeta, the other guy.
Frieza?
Who?
Frieza, yeah,
Okay.
Frieza. He looks like a naked mole rat, okay?
How dare
looks like Mewtwo.
the Emperor of this universe. I, the mighty Lord Frieza,
But they-
am not a naked mole rat.
They first of all, why is Goku always dead? He's every goddamn season of any Dragon Ball show I've ever watched, he's fucking dead right up until the end. Why? Why can you not stay alive, Goku?
Character
And-
development.
No, dying and coming back is not character development.
It is for
But,
Goku.
but even then, like when he finally does show up, they spend far too many episodes on that fight. There's not even enough. There's not even enough action to make it worth that long of a fight. But
Just
we're not
milking
talking about that show. I'm just mad about
Aren't
that.
we though? Aren't we though, Sarah?
Well, we're talking. I mean, this is very much talking about the
But this-
problems with anime in general too, because
And this is a
do
trope that
They drag
Gurren
that shit
Lagann
out.
also suffers from.
They
Like,
just
hey,
drag
let's
stuff
make a
out.
fight.
Oh yeah.
They
Let's
had
have
a
an
few
in-depth
times-
conversation partway through. That's what people do in war. I know what war is.
Okay, but we have that throughout so many shows. It's not just
Anthony
Gurren
said
Lagann,
that
Doesn't
the
mean
only
it
way I
doesn't
like
make it a good
recaps
thing.
is
This is true.
the way that Stargate does it, where they say previously on Stargate SU-1 the entire intro is the recap. Yes, that one. Those are okay too because they're just that was, especially if that was in the time when like when you had to wait a week or 6 months for the next episode. Like it's fine to have a recap then, and a 90-second recap, not a
Right.
15-minute recap. That's stupid.
Yeah,
Like I'm
and
not
they
so
skip
dumb
the
that
goal.
I can't remember everything.
Not a recap where you see Kamina butt naked except for Bunta, which is on his van region,
Which-
while he
yeah.
stares at the moon and is like,
What
"Do you
the
remember
fuck?
when we did this?"
Why
little
is
brother?"
everybody being so mean to Buta? Why? He's not your loincloth. He's not your booger cloth either. Like they were so mean to Buta. I mean, you don't deserve a pet if you're gonna use it to cover your junk or wipe your nose.
No,
Like,
hold on. That was Bunta's choice. Bunta did that honestly. That was not Kamina. Bunta did that willingly.
That was still really poor writing, though. They're making this poor animal a servant to the characters. Literally rips its flesh off and offers it to them.
And
Like
they
it's
make a point of it being
was
like
so
they
gross.
like we know that he's sentient. We know he understands what's going on
Yeah.
because he makes a point to tell them I was there at the beginning too.
Yeah.
And then Simone translates it, but like he's
Yeah.
he's completely aware of everything at a human level of intelligence, and you're treating him like that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
There's a whole lot of othering that happens. I mean, it's a whole, beast people versus humans, and then the
Beast
the
men.
beast friend isn't really a full-fledged friend, and there's just a whole lot of othering going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of problems. There is
Wait,
there is a
we've cut Brian off again. Brian.
Oh,
yes,
I
we
said-
did we?
That was my big criticism, is it didn't respect my time, so I won't watch it. And that's just, it's my sniff test. If you don't pass that, fuck you, I'm out.
That's fair.
So, meh.
I
If
wish
they
I
could
do that with
if
certain
they could
shows.
strip out some of this stuff, if they could strip out some of these problems, I think that there is a story in there.
There is.
There is a story in there, and it's not a bad story. It's especially if you like robots and space travel and Revolutionary War, like action and adventure and brotherly love. Oh my God, who the hell do you think I am?
Love that line.
Fuck me, I was so sick of hearing who the hell do you think I am.
Oh yeah, he said it way too much. He was
A couple times every episode at least.
easily.
Ugh.
He was the embodiment of positive toxic masculinity, and that was
Yes.
a problem in some ways.
Yes,
Is
he
that-
never.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
I was like,
Toxic-
isn't
yeah,
that-
we're-
isn't that an
toxic,
oxymoron?
Toxic
toxic
masculinity.
positivity. Yeah, toxic positivity
Better.
and toxic masculinity. Yeah, like the mashed together.
It was
said
mashed
positive
together.
toxic masculinity.
Because he
I'm
was
like,
always on about how manly he needed to be and how manly Simone needed to be, and they
Yeah,
were
and
always like, he was supportive, but only in a manly way.
Yeah, and like
they were
he
just he wasn't someone who listened to others. He was very one-dimensional, and it was all about his manliness and getting his dick to space.
And they let him be the leader despite the fact that he was constantly putting them into danger by being so reckless.
Constantly. Yes.
So reckless. And then Yoko's like, "Oh, I always think that he'll figure it out and we'll be okay." And then that last fight of his, the second to last fight of his, she's like, "That was the first time that I thought that." I was like, "Bitch, you've known him for like a week. What the fuck are you talking about? You know that shit."
I was mad that they tried to make her the love interest to him because they were showing her as a smart, independent character that was going to be a good fighter and all this. Then even the other characters were like, "That's your type," and
I hope that they were wanting to get more character development into Kamina before they did that, because Kamina sucks. Right up till the end, I think he sucks way more than, like, he has far more bad qualities than good. Not that he doesn't have any good qualities, but he does not have enough character development to deserve to have a romantic relationship in the first place. Well, never mind Yoko being his fucking prize. She's not a prize, she's a person. And
if only the anime would acknowledge that in any way, shape, or form. Even with the Princess Nia and getting together and becoming engaged, and then she has the change, and Simone is mourning her as, I didn't understand what she said most of the time, but she was sweet and warm, and now she's cold and terrible. It's like she's changed. It's like everything was in reference to him and how he had his doll. I was like,
I don't like that.
No, and it's a thing that Amanda and I are noticing because we've experienced it more directly than you boys have.
That's true.
But it definitely existed, and that, like, Yoko and Nia were treated as prizes, and then the other girls were so expendable that I don't even remember their names. Like, I literally only know that they're the Black sisters, and that the nerdy one was the middle one, because of course she is.
Right, and then there was just an entire, like, grave littered of dead princesses that are completely famous.
Yes, and ew, right? Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. And they were literal dolls for the Lord
but you
Spiral
hated
whatever king. So yeah.
Yeah, and once he got and all she did was ask, "Why was I born?" And that was enough to make him discard her for a new doll. Like,
yeah, he's a dick.
And now, okay, so like that could have been a really good tool for a really good, like, he could have been a piece of shit, and like that could have been woven into the story in a brilliant way, and that was a wasted opportunity there, because they could have had it's. Especially in the bad guy, there's nothing wrong with having a character be sexist as long as that character either develops or stops being allowed in some way to be sexist. Exhibit A, Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He learns. He's sexist as hell in the beginning, and he learns. He grows.
Yes.
I love his character arc. That's why I don't like the live action one, because they took that away.
Yes.
And here, what they did was they killed him, and then they resurrected him without his bad parts in order to rehabilitate him and uncancel him, essentially, so that he could then explain himself, and we can sort of maybe see a little bit of sympathy for it and understand what the fuck was actually going on, because no one knew and no one could say it except him.
Yeah,
and he got more of a story arc and a rehabilitation than any of the female characters.
Absolutely, yeah. Which sucks again. And like, why was no woman allowed until they ran out of men to run those gunmen? There was no women. There weren't even like I think Kamina even said it at one point in one of the early episodes, like that women can't run the gunmen. And why the hell not?
Hold on. But we did see that. We did see them in there. We saw the Black sisters.
No, after they ran out of men. They didn't have enough men to run the gunmen, so they needed to add the Black sisters. Again, their names, we don't know. Nobody cares about them.
But not a lot. Yeah.
Nice try, though.
Well, of course you remember them.
And one of them was such apparently a good woman and wife that her husband, whose actual name I did forget, I knew her name, not the husband, grabbed the bad guy, flung him around the universe, and named it "I have the best wife in the world, attack or throw" or whatever. So that's love, baby.
I can attack that, but I'm not going to, because we're running out of time. But I could totally attack that. I'm sorry, I can rip that apart too, because like, that's all she is a good wife.
right? And he has to be the one that does the defending. She can't do it
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
He
And
knows
why did the
He
women
just had
have
a
to do the,
baby.
women have to do all the when we first meet the blacks? The women had to go do the hunting, and the men just literally just sat on a rock and bitched while the women were out hunting.
Which is actual reference to lionesses in Africa.
Except
they-
that lions
it's-
they're
epic
actually do
warriors
hunting
and
as
the men
well.
are
But
lazy.
Yeah,
They
except
stereotype
that
about lions.
these aren't lions. They were humans. They're humans, spirals, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch it again just to understand that. But, yeah. So, it's not an irredeemable. Okay, like closing out the discussion of Gurren Lagann. It's not an irredeemable story. It's not. It has good parts, but if in a perfect world we could rewrite this,
Well, yeah.
I would love to see it with less sexism, or if there is going to be sexism, like I said, growth on the part of the person who is displaying the sexism.
Yeah.
I think that they can keep the bromance. That was good.
Yes.
Remove some of the toxic masculinity / toxic positivity / toxic positive masculinity.
Here.
And it's supposed to be it jumps 7 years and then it was 20.
7
So-
years and then 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's making these big time jumps which completely disjoints the story.
Now, if they reframe it, instead of calling it Gurren Lagann, or Gurren Lagann, the story of Simone the Digger, like something to reference that it's going to be a biopic type thing, instead of just like, because at the beginning, you're like, oh, they're fighting for human independence, and then it's like, nope, this is all happening way too quickly for this whole thing to be about that. There's more arcs in this.
Yeah, they basically
it
story
could've
arced
been-
into the title of Gurren Lagann early on.
Yeah. They literally say it in the very first episode that's the team name is Gurren Lagann.
No, it's Team Gurren.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, still, Team Gurren, and then we immediately find out where Lagann comes from too. When Simone finds his little robot face. So
I do want to say one thing before we really wrap up, and that's that
Yeah.
I am the one who likes the anime, yes, but I had complaints. We already touched on one, which was the recap episode 6.
yeah.
6
Okay.
episodes in. I'm like, that was the one episode where I actually fast forwarded because I'm like, I've already seen this. Get me to the good stuff. The second one is Rossiu. And
Yeah.
Sarah, I know you haven't seen the back half, but when they start season 2, Rossiu goes through a complete personality change that really rubbed me the wrong way. He was a freaking
Okay.
dick to Simone, and he's doing stuff that I'm not going to say is kind of like what's going on in certain governments today, but it gave me those vibes.
Did
And
it
I'm just-
not, right?
yeah, and I'm just like,
Okay,
why are you doing this?
interesting.
And they tried to justify. There was actually a movie that came out afterward that condensed the story. They apparently did Rossiu better. I'm like, I don't care. All right, Rossiu's a dick. He should pay for it, and he did it. And then he becomes the ruler of the world in the end. I'm just like, no, that's not cool. That sucks. And
Bad
then
enough.
my final complaint was the literal last 2 scenes. Spoiler, a key character dies in the stupidest way possible, which if you've watched Samurai Jack apparently ripped off Gurren Lagann. Not cool. And then Simone becomes a hermit. Because why? Like, it made no sense. And it's like, oh, but and they explain in like a novelization that he went around the world helping people and planting flowers to remember Nia. I'm like, that's beautiful. Show me
Johnny
that.
Appleseed.
And once again, like this is like most people, if it would have, perhaps worked through their grief and then gone on to another relationship. He managed to work through his grief of his best bro, but instead is like deeply grieving the ideal woman that doesn't exist, and it's just his grief doll instead that keeps him going to being this desert nomad for frickin' ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he even says at the end, like, I guess I'm nobody now. Like, you're Simone the Digger! See, I had issues.
It's again not irredeemable. There is a good story in there underneath the problematic parts, and sometimes it's hard to see it. But I think if you can power through those crappy episodes, then it does start to get good. Like and like maybe you won't find the first 6 episodes terrible like I did. So which
didn't.
is all I can hope. I strongly recommend if you're going to give it a try after all this, don't watch the English dub. It was garbage.
I
It's
like the
horrible.
English dub.
It's horrible. Don't watch it. But and
also
also
try to deconstruct it heavily for all of the sexism and the homophobia and the pedophilia and the male gaze and the toxic masculinity. So,
isn't it ironic that they made Liran be like creepy and pervy, and because he's the coded gay character, when they were like being openly gross about Yoko and
oh yeah.
I mean like
Oh yeah.
why? Anyway, everybody jump in onto the quiz here.
Quiz.
Todd is going to give you a digital copy of one of his comics as the prize, so you get a free comic if you win.
Nice.
I mean, Brian, you'll get a free comic because Brian always fucking wins.
Right.
I will let you choose from my various series so that you find something that you like. Because I have so many different genres, including novels.
I'm a big sucker for laser swords. Just gonna put that out there.
Well, then you need to back the Kickstarter. Okay.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Which, yes, by the way, everybody, the Kickstarter's not live yet, but go to the pinned comment. It is, or if you go to Kickstarter, just type in Tokyo Blade Detectives into the search bar and you'll find it.
Yeah.
It is not live yet, but go follow it because then you'll get an email notifying you when it is live, and then you can check out more information on it when it goes live, and you can back it if you so choose, which Todd will appreciate the hell out of you for it. I will appreciate the hell out of you if you back it and then tell him that you backed it because we talked about it and it was fun on Sarah's show.
Yeah.
Sarah and Brian and Amanda's show, because it's like all of our show. I mean, yeah, I started it, but it's all of our show now.
Yeah, and Sarah's already admitted that she's gonna back it and pledge $10,000, and I have not lied once this whole show.
So kind.
Like that's
Right.
true.
I'll write you a check, Todd.
I'll take it. don't tempt me with a good time. I have checks. I still write checks. I'm old that way.
I don't have any
You're
checks.
so old then.
I am.
I used to have checks, and then I had to switch banks because when you move states, you can't easily. It's just really hard to keep the same bank when you move states. So, and then I just never got more checks, and I don't need them at all.
I think my checks are like 4 addresses old.
Nice. I guess as long as the bank stuff like the routing and account number are the same, it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
So, Todd, you can play too if you want to play. It's
You should play.
Only I can't play because I'm the one who wrote it and I know all the answers. But yeah, like if you go to play.bookit.com and enter on your browser or on your phone, and then enter the game ID, or if you just scan that bar or the QR code up there, that'll take you there. And again, don't listen to us. If I say anything about that, don't listen to what we're saying because we're going to be 10 to 30 seconds behind the actual game. When you're playing the game, focus on the game screen. Do not listen to us because, again, we're behind you. There's a lag.
It's not letting me join for some reason, so just go on without me.
You can, it's,
Really?
It says it said the site is dangerous, and then I clicked the seed anyway, and it didn't do anything. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, be that
Weird.
way.
That's annoying.
Maybe
It's
they
not a
made
dangerous
HTTP.
site. It's a kind of a sucky site, but we'll see how many times Amanda gets kicked out today.
Yeah.
What was it, like
keeps kicking
9
me out.
times
Maybe
last
I
week?
should start writing the games or the quiz so you can participate and I don't have to get booted all the time.
That's fair. We can do that. I mean, at any point, if you see something on the schedule and you're down to write that, I am totally for it. And
Next week to Wong Fu.
yeah, next week we're gonna be watching we're gonna get super gay up in here in June, man. Y'all. I don't know anybody else's orientation, but
That's great.
solid 3. Well, yeah, no. I don't know. You guys, I've known you guys for a long time, and I don't have a clue, and I don't care either. I mean, it's important. Your identity is important to me, but it doesn't affect anything about our friendship. That's the problem. Or that's the problem. It doesn't affect anything, and that's the problem.
You
if
know
you're
at
just
least
the way you are, and you
partially.
have to take it.
Okay, so that's
You can
fair.
be pretty
I've known
certain
Brian.
of at least partially.
Yeah, I've known Brian for a while, and I actually met some of your friends and learned some shit about you because of that. Some of
Oh,
your friends
dangerous.
in Minnesota.
Suspense.
Learned some stuff about Brian he probably didn't want me to know.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't remember how long. Like, I don't remember when I met. I remember seeing a picture of Brian, and he was wearing a Dig Dug shirt, and I messaged him and said, "Can I have your shirt?" Like, had no interest in actually talking to him, except that I wanted to ask him for the shirt and see if he'd give it to me. Complete
Never
stranger. No, you didn't.
I think as far as shirts go, later on, like years later, you designed and I paid for puppy cat shirts that we both got.
Yeah, the puppy cat shirts. And then I moved a washing machine while wearing my puppy cat shirt, and I ripped a big hole in it, and fucking devastated, y'all. And so I sewed it back together, and now there's like a weird little pucker in the side of it, but it's still there. I still have it.
Also, we should do a Being Puppy Cat episode.
We could do Being Puppy Cat.
The original or the Netflix?
We could do both and talk about why the original's better.
Pretty much. Which one did you like better, and why was it the YouTube?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. If everybody's in, let's hit the start button. Okay, doing it. We're doing the thing. And this is all very general stuff because, like I said, I wrote this and I only watched half-ish.
I don't even think I got into double digits episodes.
I don't think it's taken
I know this
my
one.
stuff.
I'm at a
Maybe it's best I
disadvantage.
don't, because I probably would have aced every one of these.
Yeah, you should if you've seen
Something
it.
went
Yeah, whoever I'm gonna guess that Brian's the one that's actually able because
This is why I always win.
Anthony
Problems
keeps
on
getting
this
kicked
site.
out too. He keeps trying. Bless
pure
his heart. He keeps
technically.
trying to get in and
It's
somebody
not just
find
me.
somebody
No, it's
find
not
me a
just
better
you.
site than Book It because
I'm going to because honestly,
it
hates
is
me.
pissing me off. I do not care for the fact that people keep getting booted out of this. But you should be able to jump back in. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's letting everybody.
It does, but then
Okay.
it'll show me the thing, and then I'll go through it. Don't you worry.
Hey, you were able.
Anthony's working.
Anthony was
Good.
able to get a question in there, an answer in there,
It's too late. No.
and he said he didn't watch it too. So cool.
It's clearly methane, by the way. I mean,
I mean,
We all-
depends
we
on
all-
what
we
day
all
of
know
that
they're
day.
Yeah,
full
like
of
you're
it.
in that tiny enclosed space. Like farts should power stuff, right?
Mhm,
Oh
mhm.
man, my sound areas are usually very small, and sometimes I have to like crack the door and be like, "I'll be back in just one moment. I need to go and get a refill."
So can anybody answer me this while we're in between questions? Why is it just men? And then also second half of the question, why do you guys always have to fart as soon as you get into the car with me?
Hey,
It's every
it's also
man ever.
elevators.
Okay, yeah, there's that. But every man that's ever gotten into a vehicle with me shits his pants immediately upon closing the door.
I wouldn't do that. I can promise you that.
Well, I don't know how I managed 10 years with Jeffrey because every fucking time, y'all, every time.
Okay, you need to buy him the charcoal-lined underwear then.
I do.
That's not
I've
what I
been
was gonna
saying
suggest.
that for a while. Like, just can we put a cork in his butthole or something? I am so grossed out.
I think that's a discussion you need to have with him.
I've had a few times. I'm like, I want to just like eat cabbage and eggs like all day for a day, just so I can try and have farts that are that gross. And it's not just it's not just him. It's
This
out-
is a
it's-
great question, by the
men.
way. Like this was one of the like darker moments of the series.
Yes.
It really was.
Yes, it was. We should not be talking about farts when we're talking about this very dark moment in the
Show
series.
some decorum.
Yeah.
Okay, people are getting kicked out again. Show some decorum. I mean, it was my fault for putting the fart response into one of the questions, so.
Whoever said he hated them, like, did not watch the episode. Like, come on.
No, yeah, no,
I mean, he
Anthony
kinda
was
did a
fully.
little.
Anthony, yeah, he didn't care about them. I hate is a strong word, but he didn't care about them. And Anthony fully admitted that he did not watch them, so.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm breaking character, but this is a trick question.
It is a
This
trick
is a-
question.
It is, but it
question.
isn't.
It's
I
such a
should
trick
have said.
question.
I should have been more specific with
Yeah.
it, to be fair.
Like, who originates the
Yes, who-
catchphrase?
And who says that
originally says
catchphrase
it.
the most?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Alright.
yeah, right after Simone snaps out of it, he does actually say it once, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
because he says a lot of common his lines.
And Nias says a slightly different version of it.
There you go. See, so it gets used around a lot.
But who says it 3 or 4 times every episode?
Technically, both Simone and Kamina.
Ugh.
Also, if you watched the subbed version, none of them say it.
Well, there you go. America.
Technicalities.
No,
It's
it
a slightly
absolutely
trick
says it in the
question.
Netflix version.
That's how I write quizzes. Trick questions, left and right.
That's
We
why
all are,
Brian.
Anthony.
That's
We
why
all
Brian
are.
doesn't get to write the quizzes very often.
Anthony says, I'm guessing a lot. Oh, I can tell, Anthony.
Yeah, it's okay, Anthony. You said you didn't watch it.
You should have put some later questions in that Brian wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I didn't know them either because I only watched halfway. I got used to writing them all immediately myself, and I should be looping you guys in at this point. Y'all are big enough part of it, but then you can't play them either, so I
I think
don't know.
we've determined I can never play them. I'm on
That is
like
fair.
Amanda 5 at this point, so
That's fair. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I want to know, that was one of the weirder plot points, was that they said, like, oh yeah, Kami's father got to the surface, and then he's, like, dead, but we don't know why or how. It's
Right.
just, and they just happened to find him. I'm like, okay, then.
so good. There were so many convenient moments, to be fair, but yes,
Oh,
that
but
one
that's also
really
anime
stuck out.
in a nutshell. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, and that was
But-
like that immediately cut off one of the subplots too, like because he wanted to go to the surface specifically to join
Yeah,
his father,
father.
and then there's
Right.
like boom, nope, you can't because he's right there and he's super dead.
If you
And
want to
his
talk about
immediate
convenient,
response was to shove it all down and put it in a little lockbox of emotion, and then
Yeah,
be
and
a
it never
toxic
came
and
back up
positive
again.
person again.
yeah,
yeah.
Also, if you want to talk about convenient moments, watch Andor season 2. Like
Yeah.
so many. I'm like, really? Like,
Oh,
that's
no.
dang convenient. Like, oh god.
I really want to see a collection of short stories where the convenience isn't there and the heroic moment doesn't happen, because in almost every story the hero does a thing that should not work, but it does by coincidence. In this case, it doesn't work, and so the prophecy fails and the hero dies. And just a collection of short stories like that. It would be amazing.
I know that this is a little more abstract, but in The Legend of Zelda, that happens, and that creates one of the branching timelines. Because they have it to where Link loses to Ganondorf, and then that creates a completely different timeline.
Nice.
Prophecy failed! You had one job, Link! Yeah, Amanda gets third because she had 0 points.
Jesus
Progress!
Christ. Wow. And you're third place, yay!
Third place.
And you got fourth, fifth, and sixth. You're tied for third. All 4 of you are tied for third place with 0 points.
Oh.
Do
but
all
you
those
tried.
thirds add up and multiply and become
What's
greater?
4
Add the
times
quint-
0,
to the-
Brian?
What's 0 factorial?
0th place? Yeah, that
Oh.
takes it. That's grand
That's 1,
prize.
isn't it? Is 0 factorial 1?
Well done, Anthony, though. Second place.
Yeah.
Legitimately was creeping up on Brian, who should not have gotten quite as far as he had.
No.
I used a different browser this time.
God,
I
you
just...
should have been in there and whooped his butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd have won for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So next week, we already kind of talked about it, I guess. So next week is Pride Month, and we are going to be doing all the Pride stuff. So we are second place.
Should we send the prize his way?
Yes.
I think we should send it to a viewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Anthony, message me your email address because Todd's gonna send you. Actually, yeah, I will just pass your email address along directly to Todd, and you guys can work out what book you want. I think.
Or
Does that
just
sound good?
Anthony, when you send an email over to Sarah, mention like your top 3 genres that you like to read the most, and then I'll pick which one I have and send it to you.
There you go. That works too. Yeah. So yeah, just message me and we'll get it sorted. And then next week, yeah. So next week we're doing Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. That is the whole title, and there's an exclamation point in there. And it is an excellent movie, and I have a lot, like, I love the movie, and I have a lot of things to say about it, and I've got to watch it again because I know that there's some criticism in there somewhere, but right now I'm just like, it's such a good movie and I just love it. But I mean, I don't need to come up with any criticism anymore because I have Amanda. We've got Amanda. We don't need to do anything. Anything mean. I don't have to ever because and then like Amanda will point it out and I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Damn it.
Yeah. Apparently, unlike Gurren Lagann, Amanda does live up to the hype.
Brian,
yes,
the B is for buffer.
I have not reached a point where I am not appreciative of Amanda's ability to pick out the problem points in a story. Because, and Todd, you can appreciate this as a story writer yourself. If you're writing a story and there's a big ass hole in it, don't you want to be notified of that before you get into the production part of your comic?
Yeah, that's why I have an editor.
Yeah, so that's what you need. And that's, that's, I mean, Amanda, you are an editor. You edited Granica. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I want to get done on that.
And trust me, while I might have been kind to Gurren Lagann, if you give me another show like, say, Andor or the recent Doctor Who episodes, I would rip them to shreds. Because of, like, plot hole. Doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Internal consistency.
Like
Oh man, internal consistency.
If you want to talk about bad female representation, watch the latest Doctor Who episodes and look at Belinda Chalmers. She's just there. Like, no character, no story. Her repeat line is, you need to take me home. And then she's like, ooh, pretty thing. Let's just go do that then. Like, what is that?
there's no excuse for poor female representation in 2025. There's no excuse.
She's just there.
We have made it very clear to all the people making these shows that we don't want women who just sit there and look pretty, who could, like, you could completely wipe from the story and it wouldn't matter at all. That is not the kind of woman I want represented in my stories. Thank you very much.
I can promise Miko
Says
from Tokyo
the
Blade
lady who's writing sex stuff all the time. I am writing too much romance, borderline and legit porn to be so like and
smut is the word you're looking for.
Well, yeah, smut, but
Smut.
I mean, shit's gonna get weird at some point. Right now, it's not weird. It's just fun. We're just all having fun here, but eventually it's gonna get weird because I gotta, okay?
Yeah.
I can't fully express myself if I don't get a little weird. It's gonna get weird. We'll see if it ever sees the light of
Weird
day.
is good. It helps make it not cookie cutter. It makes it unique.
That's true. Yes, exactly. I like that because in the past, weird, not always a good thing. And if I show it to these two, then that means that I actually have a degree of pride for it. So if it never sees any eyes but my own, then that's how weird it was that even I'm ashamed of it. But anyway. See that I'm pretty sure that you guys are one of 4 people that I don't have a problem showing basically anything. You guys are 2 of 4 people that I don't have a problem showing pretty much anything to. Jeff's not in that list. Don't tell him.
I'm gonna tell him right now. I'm gonna tell him on this little cardboard.
Scandalous statement.
He's like the second tier, not the first tier. Just because I don't like explaining stuff, you know.
Sure.
And just like, can you not appreciate the weirdness of it without asking for backstory? That's all my problem. I don't need to do backstory right now. Okay, yes. To Wong Fu next week, and then after that we're doing like I've got Steven Universe on the list. I think I bumped Has Been Hotel, and I put the Birdcage on there as a potential because the Birdcage is another oldie but goodie. What was another one? And at the end of the month we're gonna do the mega quiz thing because that's 6 months on the nose.
Oh, I also got Luca on the list.
Yeah, Luca. That was Ryan Robinson suggested that. And he's more in tune to the representation in these things than I am, so I definitely appreciated that suggestion. And I had to bump Has Been Hotel for that one, I think, because I was like, Has Been Hotel's great, but of the two, I think that Luca probably is better on the representation. Because Has Been Hotel is so very weird on everything that it's like, it's good, but it's so weird on everything that the queerness of it is
Kinda swept
kind of
under.
almost boring, you know, like that's just like, oh, and that's a thing, like it's
Right,
not
but that
boring,
actually
but-
can
Which is
make it really good as a result.
yeah, no, it's a good
But it's
show.
less of
I
a
mean,
talking point, I think.
Yeah, that's what I
Which-
mean. It's just like
that's kind of the
it's not the most interesting part of the show. It's not the it's up here,
That make-
but I can't
well,
make it happen
that
out
makes
here.
it
You'll get it by the time the episode rolls around.
But yes, I get what you're saying. You want something that's more discussable, so to speak.
Yeah. Like this, cause like Has Been Hotel, there's way weirder shit to talk about than just the fact that some of the characters are queer, and it's good, and you should watch it, but it's not the queerest episode. It's not the queerest show out there. and Luca is adorable as well, so I want to talk about that too. Like Luca is a very
That's
cute,
an easy
like
watch.
the animation is very pretty, and it's good. So, everybody go check out the pinned comment. Follow Todd's book, Tokyo Blade Detectives.
The Texas. Yeah.
Tokyo Blade
No.
in Texas.
Yes.
The Texas,
The
undoing
second
Texas.
worst state.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to Texas.
That's a spin-off series.
I hate it on principle because of
I worked
the
in Texas at the drill company.
things. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Y'all.
have a good rest of your week. And we'll see you
Bye.
next Monday.
Come
Next
back for
Todd's
Sarah's
book
weirdness.
when it comes out. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.